Brian Kingston is hugely qualified. He's got a fancy title with the Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association, but he's also got bulletproof academics led by Carleton University on trade and on what it means for auto manufacturers. What is the biggest conceit, myth, thing we get wrong, Brian, about that bridge between Windsor and Detroit?
Well, look, I think the biggest myth that we see there is that this bridge and the bilateral relationship in auto between Canada and the US primarily benefits Canada, when the fact is we're so deeply integrated over 60 years, and now the United States actually has an automotive surplus with Canada. And what many people don't realize is that Canada is the largest export destination for US manufactured vehicles by far. The Americans send more cars to Canada than they do to China, Germany, and Mexico combined. So we're deeply integrated, and we effectively build vehicles together.
What is the tone of the layoffs right now? Over a beverage of my choice, I'm noting Volvo laying off, I believe it was 900 people. But give us the immediate Thursday morning state of the labor economy in this trade war.
Well, look, it's all about uncertainty at the moment. Automotive is a huge sector in Canada. We've got over 130,000 Canadians directly employed in manufacturing, but if you look at the broader industry impact, it's closer to 500,000. And there's just no clarity on what the path forward is right now. I mean, the tariffs are on, then they're off. The interpretation of the tariffs changes consistently. So for anybody in this industry, it's just so difficult to plan right now. And of course, that has a huge impact on the labor market. Okay,
1,000 Henry Ford Center Drive.
Yep.
And Google misspelled it.
Oh.
It's Center. They misspelled Center. I don't understand that. This is in Windsor. Ford Motor Company, Windsor Engine Plant. Paul, imagine the conversation there this morning.
So, Brian, when you talk to the Canadian manufacturers, what are they doing today? How are they planning? How are they just going day to day?
Well, what we're seeing is because of the uncertainty, it makes it very difficult for companies to move forward with investments, to deploy new capital, of course. And Canada has received over $40 billion in new auto investments since 2020. Huge reinvestment into the industry. A lot of that's related to electric vehicle production. So there are some big projects underway or on the books. But until we have clarity on the tariff situation, it's very difficult to proceed. And just to give you a sense of how expensive these tariffs are, we're estimating that US-based manufacturers are going to incur about $107.7 billion in cost if they remain in place. So it makes it hard to move forward with any project.
We're talking with Jean Boivin, BlackRock. Montreal, Brian. It's a city up to the right there. It's up the St. Lawrence Seaway.
I know it well.
We're talking with Jean Boivin, and to me, the basic idea is this word negotiation. I don't know what it means. What if whoever the new Prime Minister of Canada, what if they just say no to President Trump? We're not going to participate in this trade war. What are the consequences for Lower Canada and Upper Canada?
Well, the consequences are massive. I mean, the Canadian economy is so highly dependent and integrated with the U.S. And that goes back to, we had a bilateral trade agreement initially, then NAFTA, and of course now the USMCA. And because of that, all of our supply chains are on a north-south basis. So it's not as though Canada has the ability to diversify and do it quickly, pivot to Asia, Europe. We are truly connected with the American economy. So, I think negotiating with the U.S. day one for the incoming prime minister has got to be the top priority. And for auto, over 90% of what we build in Canada goes to the United States. That's how the industry has been founded.
9-0.
Amazing. Wow. Brian, what does all this uncertainty within the auto industry mean for the transition to electric vehicles? It seems like it was kind of sputtering anyway. People were unsure about the demand. I can't charge, so on and so forth. The prices are too high. Does this make the transition to EVs even more difficult? Is that what you're hearing from some of your manufacturers?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, first of all, we're anticipating, because of the tariffs, that vehicle prices could go up by as little as 4,700 US dollars, but could increase up to over 10,000 US dollars. And for EV adoption, that's particularly problematic because EVs are more expensive. It's still a new technology.
Right.
And so we see a price gap in Canada of about $14,000 between a gas-powered vehicle and an electric vehicle. So now you throw in the economic uncertainty that these tariffs are creating, the potential for a downturn, which obviously has an impact on new vehicle sales, plus a price gap that could even widen because a lot of the battery
Right.
components come from other parts of the world, which will be impacted by the US reciprocal tariffs. And it doesn't add up to a good
Right.
situation for EV adoption.
This is brilliant. Brian, I got one final question. Whether the Canadians are going to Myrtle Beach or Palm Beach, it's over, isn't it? Nobody's traveling, right?
Good point.
No, I mean the numbers that we're seeing are just phenomenal. Some of our major border crossings, you're seeing travel down in some instances over 40%. And so Canadians have really taken this personally. We're so closely tied to America, and it's been such a strong relationship that a lot of Canadians just feel really kind of saddened by what's going on. And so they're canceling trips. So it is having a big impact on the tourism industry.
We look forward to speaking to you again. Brian Kingston's president, the chief executive officer, the Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association, and is closely affiliated with the BAMP Forum, which is a wonderful economic effort up in Canada.